Okay, back out here at Fonferek today. It is now into spring here in Wisconsin. Date is April 21st. The grass is starting to turn green. Looks like a lot of the mud has dried up a little bit. We had some crazy flooding here in northeast Wisconsin about a couple weeks ago, or over the last couple weeks really. And it was just, I would say in the last 4 or 5 days that the rains have calmed down and hopefully water levels calmed down. But there was footage of Fonferek here, one of our favorite places to come crawl, where this waterfall was literally up over those rocks over there on the side. And today it looks like it's crossable. We would even be able to drive over it with the Vertex 6 here. Excuse me, I've got a nasty cold that I'm just getting over. Today's the first day I'm really feeling better from it. Anyway, looks like the Vertex 6 would probably even be able to drive over this without any issue. So we're gonna send it across and then we're gonna walk across, and I'm just trying to see where we're gonna wanna do that. Kind of reading the water line here, seeing where is gonna be a spot with the most shallow, calm path. And I'm thinking right about here, kind of like treading between these two lines. We'll send her up here. Now, we're probably for sure getting water inside of our wheels, inside those foams, because these tires and wheels from Vertex are vented inside the rim, unfortunately, not vented in the tire. So that's something that we're definitely going to have to check on when we get back, is probably take the wheels and tires apart. Boy, oh boy, tell you what, these rocks are slippery. But I know my shoes are, for the most part, pretty waterproof. I'm feeling a little bit of moisture, a little bit of wetness getting on my socks, but not bad. Nothing like that one pair of winter boots that should have been winterproof. Man, I was so surprised by those. If you watch my video back from February when we were here. Of course, now our tires are wet, so they are going to pick up some dirt and mud and sticks and the debris, as some people like to say. Yes, I know that word is pronounced debris. But we've got some gravel here. Hopefully we can kind of clean the wheels off a little bit with the gravel. There we go. Let's see how the rest of the park is. If the water is nice and low like that, my hopes is that our favorite areas to crawl and climb are going to be pretty well dry and not overly wet, so that we get some good grip with our tires. If you've been paying attention to the channel, we've been coming out here with the Vertex 6 since January when I got it. So this truck is only a few months old, but we've been getting plenty of miles out of it, even in the cold weather when we could. I will say, for a year-round crawler, this thing is tough to beat. That's the beauty of 6 scale, is that you can enjoy it in the summertime when conditions are ideal, but even in winter when conditions are terrible, you can still come out and crawl and trail with this thing, and it just eats things up. So we're going to start with this hill, which has got a lot of roots. It's not particularly a tough climb for something like this, but if you come out here with a 10 scale, especially something like a TRX4 or SCX10, it's going to really struggle getting up over those roots. But as you can see here, Vertex 6 just climbs over it like it's nothing. Makes it look easy. No bumps, no excessive wheel speed needed to try to overcome those roots. And those are one of those obstacles, roots like this, where they can be a little slippery, or they just get caught around your wheels in such a way that they prohibit you from progressing with your climb. All right, now we're going to try something else here. We're going to try climbing up all these loose leaves and foliage and see what happens here. Looks like we're getting caught up in some twiggage. Oh, wow. Wrapped around the axles. Let's get that out. Yep. Okay. Got a couple of trees that look like they were trimmed here. I'm sure by whoever is in charge of maintaining the property. But we've got almost a vertical climb up this dirt cliff here. I just want to see what the Vertex will do with it. I don't suspect it'll make it because climbing up loose dirt like this is pretty problematic. Oftentimes the dirt just digs out. You're really relying on the rear wheels to push you up. And then of course, if you even get like a little tree like that right there that just got in front of us, you're gonna find that that's enough to stop you. All right, looks like we're, oh, wait a minute though. Hold on. All right, so we got a root on the rear driver wheel that's sort of holding us up a little bit. Okay, oh. If I can get that rear wheel over that root, there we go. Look at that, wow. That is, guys, it's hard to tell on camera, it always is, but I'll try to get over here to see how steep that was that just got up. That's always so impressive with this thing. Redcat with this and the Ascent 18 Apex. I've said it so many times on these videos, but they just absolutely killed it with this thing. I know technically this is a, excuse again my cough here. This is a joint effort between Redcat and I believe Hyboxing, or, man, forgive me if I'm getting the company name wrong. Maybe it's not them, it's Yikong. That's right, it's Yikong. I'm pretty sure it's between Redcat and Yikong that this was a joint development with. And if you go with the Yikong version of this, it has a completely different cage style body. So it looks very different from the body up, but from the chassis downward, they're pretty much the same truck. Oh my gosh. Okay, we hooked a tire up there. Can we? All right, man, if we had more grip on that front top, instead of just digging up dirt, we would be up this thing. I had some hope for a second, because this is one of those lines I have not been able to get anything to go up yet. It's just the way it's made, it just seems to beat you on wheelbase or track width or just not having grip in the spots where you need there to be grip for your tires to grab on and pull you up. And that seems to be, again, what we're running into here. We get up so far, and you can see, for example, our front passenger tire, it wants to grab that rock, but it is just slip sliding off. It just keeps, yeah. You can hear the body kind of getting hit underneath the one side, on the driver's side, trying to get up over that rock. Looks like the driver's side wheel is getting pulled down to pull it in. So I wonder if we can turn it a little more. Oh, then it's got to be the rear axle is pulling the front end towards the left, towards the driver's side, as it's trying to pull its way up. One thing I didn't do here, though, is I did not activate our underdrive for the rear. So let's see if adding the underdrive now helps it climb. Okay, maybe tiny bit. Like I said, it looked like it had some hope. You see, it's like it just grabs on and then lets go right where, when you think it's about to pull it up, it just lets go and shifts to the left, right there. I wonder if I bring it this way and try to come a little bit more from that angle. So get it up this way, okay. Now come this way. No, it doesn't work, because what ends up happening is it lifts the rear axle up off the ground once it pulls up on that rock and completely repositions the rear of the truck, that it's gonna have a very difficult time holding the line that it needs to take to get up there. Even if I try start it from over here and now come up, I wonder what might happen. Okay, now the rear end is just pushing it up into that position we don't want it to be in. Okay, wait. Okay. Straighten the wheels. Maybe keep from tipping backwards. Nope, now it's wanting to rotate backwards. Come on. See, now like the front end's just about standing up in the air. We don't want that. Come on. What is going on here? Yeah. It's a tough line. Let's see if we can go up this side instead. Because this is a tough one too. Because look how our rear driver side wheel, or excuse me, rear passenger side wheel gets stuck down into that rut right there. And that kind of just pulls the whole truck down. So you try to fight it by gripping driver side on the top by turning your wheels to the left. But it doesn't seem like it has enough to hold it that way. Let's see if we can go further over and try to see if, yeah, it just keeps wanting to, even there, wow. Yeah, it just wants to shift it. And if I try to maybe use that a little bit to pull it up more, again, we just can't seem to find enough grip, or we lose out on wheelbase here because our wheelbase just isn't quite right to make it up over that. Man, that's disappointing. I was really, boy, I put bug repellent on and they're already trying to land on me. Yeah, unfortunately, we finally get some really nice weather, and sure enough, the bugs are already out, especially mosquitoes. And if you know anything about Wisconsin, our unofficial state bird is the mosquito. All right, let's try something different here. We're going to get up on this obstacle here. Again, one of our favorites. And Vertex 6 is probably going to have no issues climbing this. Of course, as soon as I say that, we're going to run into a spot where it's going to struggle and we're going to fall down maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But it's quite a ledge. Oh, wow. Okay, wait. And you know what? We're going to put that underdrive on, so our front wheels are definitely spinning and grabbing more than our rear. We are definitely up on our skid. So we're going to try this again. We're going to try to get way up. There we go. Look at the amount of flex that has. That we're going to just getting close here to take a look at this. By the way, you have some of our shots here being provided courtesy of my Insta360 Go, which I have on a little headset, which you will see the stem of my glasses probably sticking out in front of. But look at that, how the front wheels are just about 90 degrees from the rears. You know, I mean, obviously not quite that extreme, but it's up there. All right, good. We've got that front driver's side, or excuse me, that rear passenger wheel. Man, why am I up there? And of course, now that lays down and we're able to pull the whole thing up. It's not that crazy of a line for most things, but man, I'll tell you what, it is tricky when you want to get a rig like this up it. I feel like you have to get that line exactly right. All right. That was a great climb. Okay, turn our underdrive off. Continue on here, and I'm walking through very soft, muddy ground. Okay. We're gonna come down here. I mean, here's the good news. At least the rocks are dry. That's what we care about. Because when the rocks are wet, they have no grip. All right, we're gonna take a line that I just saw here, or I just kind of, I guess, didn't notice before. And looks like, okay, it looks like we might struggle just getting up this part because our rear wheels have no grip to get in. They're just digging in. So let's see if we can't, no? Okay. Maybe that's not a new line we can take. All right, let's try it this way. All right, good. Now we're up. All right, I want to bring it off to the side here. I want to see if we can just do this crazy, like, pull up this wall. Oh, no. Save it from tipping backwards. Yeah, that might be too much for it. That's almost a vertical cliff when you look at it from one way. But let's see if we can't get it from... Oh, wow. That really just pulled over all of a sudden. Yeah, what happens is the passenger side just gets sucked down. All right, we'll take this. That's still a good pull-up for this thing. I like it. All right, let's keep moving here, walking through the mud. Thankfully, the truck is so light that it's not digging up through the mud a whole lot. I'm sure my shoes are getting dirty on the bottom, which is, you know, it's all right. We'll walk through the creek on the way back, and hopefully that'll clean them off. All right. Let's see, what are we in? We are in standard drive, no underdrive here. And we're going to take a nice line up this way. All right, we are standing just about straight up. So this is the point where I feel like it's about to we're about at the tipping point. So where can we go? Let's try coming over a little more. There we go. Keep the truck down that way. Flip our underdrive on. I wonder if I need to check the drag brake, because I notice sometimes this thing just lets go and, ooh, that's going to bind up. Sometimes this thing just lets go and wants to just roll downhill. There we go. Look at that. I mean, there's no surprise really that it's making some of these lines, because it was pulling some of these lines in the winter with the snow on these rocks. So, but like I was saying, the fact that we're already in the spring, warmer weather, and it's making these lines look like cake. All right, let's try this difficult line. So again, what's challenging about this is that rear axle wants to get caught underneath that ledge, and then it's going to want to rotate it backwards. So we have to get it just out from that enough, but then come back where it's going to pull itself up. And we do have our underdrive on right now. Let's go this way. Yeah, wait, no. Okay, didn't like that. Let's, maybe not. Okay. Let's try coming at it from this side. Yes. Okay. Can we... Oh. Oh. All right, I'm gonna, just so I don't just scrape it up like crazy, I'm gonna write it. First hand of me. Or hand of God, if you want to call it that. I'm not calling myself that, but I just find it weird to call it hand of God. So anyway, all right. Like even in our competitions, we call it hand of judge. Can we find a way up this ledge somehow? I feel like, you know what? I remember. Oh. Okay, well, you know what? Wasn't the intended line, but it's still a line, and it still made it up. So, I mean, I'll take that. That was pretty cool, especially with it being unintended and it didn't just fall over. Man, I tell you what, the mosquitoes are already out. Let's try one other thing here. I'm going to kind of bring it back this way and see if I can't get up the ledge right here. I feel like if I can get the tires hooked up top, yes. Okay, that got there. Now, if I can Back up just a little bit, maybe give a little bump. There we go. All right, I'll take that as a win. That was pretty awesome. All right, here's another line I would attempt with the Vertex 6. Where I'm going to come down it right now. So there we go. We're going to watch out for that little tree stump there, but then we're going to turn around and come up it. Oh, wow, look at this. Okay, oh my gosh, wow. Made it look easy. Once again, this thing never fails to impress. It is just such an impressive crawler. And we're gonna get real close and look at that to see and appreciate what that got up, because that is just about a vertical rock face with a couple small little ridges sticking out, but pretty impressive nonetheless. All right, we're gonna make sure our underdrive is turned off and mosey on up the trail a little more. I'm not seeing any new lines we can do there. Obviously, that's like a straight up cliff. That's not going to work. But too high for the wheelbase, or for the wheelbase. But we're going to go this way. All right, we'll give this an attempt. Yeah, I got a little bit of a touch with the rear driver wheel, but not bad. So a little bit of a reverse to get up this part here. Impressive nonetheless. We can still recover this. You know, we'll take a side hill. Why not? Kind of set ourselves up for it. Once again. Just the stability of this thing is fantastic. And what you can do with it. Okay. Got a couple people sitting there. Didn't want to really disturb them too much, so kept it short. Now, what else do we have up here? We don't have a whole lot, but there's a few things I suppose we could still do, and we still have Terabithia, but I don't know if that will even get Terabithia out. You know what? I'm going to try something that I don't think has been tried before with any crawlers out here at Fonferek, and that is we're going to try to descend this wall that normally you walk down. You have to really step down, and I'm going to walk up to it here so you can see what I'm talking about. But I don't think anybody has tried this, to try to drive a crawler down it. And this is what I'm talking about right here. But if anything can do it, it's the Vertex 6. So I will give you the first person view here of me getting down this. Okay. I wonder if I should stand somewhere close just in case I need to catch it. So make sure my footing's good, okay? So let's take a look here and see, what should we do for our line? What should we choose? Okay. I think we should go here. I think we're going to try to come down here, use that ledge to try to stabilize what we can, and maybe take a jump down around here from that ledge. I mean, not jump, but, you know, kind of slide, crawl down, and then just kind of continue to come down somewhere through here, and we'll see if we can make our way down. But like I said, I have not seen anybody with a crawler attempt this. Most people just pick them up and carry them down this. I don't think I've seen anybody attempt to try to actually crawl it. So we might be the first. Yeah, there we go. Exactly what I knew would happen. It would slide a little bit, but that's all right. We're keeping it composed, keeping it controlled. Ooh, that rear axle sliding down that ledge, but still have the rear wheel holding on, and we are turning to keep our vehicle composed down this descent. All right, I'm going to turn around and walk back a little further. I think we're going to make it for sure. All right, standing back this far, it does make it a little more difficult to see exactly what your lines are doing, but we're going to just do it very slowly. I have a feeling we're going to slide right here. Yep. All right, now we're going to make it come back a little further. Ooh, wow. Rear axle up in the air, almost tipped forward, but we're doing okay. Ooh. Man, look at that. I think we got it from here. We did it. That was it. All right. So just got another subscriber. You know, people here at Fonferek are always so nice. They come up and they say nice things about the cars, and then they ask about, you know, do we do YouTube? Because obviously I've got the cameras on me, and then usually hit me with a subscribe, which we always appreciate. Which reminds me, if you're watching this, please remember to hit the subscribe button, press the like button, leave me a comment. Tell me, you know what? Tell me where you would go if you had a Vertex 6, and what kind of stuff you would want to try with it or modify with it, or if you wouldn't modify anything at all, if you just drive it as it is. You know, again, if you watch previous videos on my journey with this vehicle, the only thing we've modified with it is we put a different receiver so I could bind it to my Flysky, and we put the wheel weights in the front so that it gives it just a little more weight on the front end, which is definitely something you want when crawling. You want your weight low and to the front. Ideally 60 to 65% weight distribution to the front axle. Some people say 65's definitely better. You know, the thing that you got to keep in mind is when you're descending down steep inclines, the more weight you have to the front, the more easily your vehicle can roll over forward. Okay, so there is a trade-off to it, but when you're doing climbs, it's all advantage, you know. So you're pretty much just dragging the rear axle up obstacles. In fact, I see something that's going to be pretty challenging for our Redcat Vertex 6 here, and that's going to be this ledge right here. I just want to see if I can at least get the front wheels up, because that's like a vertical face, and it looks to be about the length of the wheelbase. Yeah, it just about is. Okay, we get this up, which if I can hook the front tires, which I just did. Okay. Now if I can do this, whoa. Once again, manages to save it. Let's see if I can get it to stand up again. Get it to hook. Going really slow. Let's try going the other way. Yeah, it's going to roll backwards. It just doesn't quite have enough wheelbase to get up that. So, close. Very close. You know what? I'm going to try something else crazy here. So, we're going to try to make it go from that rock to that rock. All right, let's see if we can't make this thing get up onto that rock. Like, okay, there we go. It's tough. I have to get the skid right in between. There we go. There we go. Yes. All right, this is something else too that I don't think I've seen anybody do here, is try to get through any of this. So these are some big rocks, very big rocks, and if you're not careful, especially with like a smaller scale, you'll get caught in between something and then it's stuck, and well, you got to try to get up in here somehow and get it. So I'm thinking, what do we do here? Got a whole crowd next to me here too, having fun, getting some pictures. This is a great place to come, especially at this time of day during sunset. You got the beautiful warmth from golden hour. You get some pictures. Speaking of just beauty, my gosh, what that just did there with articulation and flex and holding that line was just fantastic. All right, this is going to be tricky here because I had a feeling if we're not careful, we're going to tip this thing over. So we're going to try to see if we can't. What are we in? We're in standard drive right now. We're not in underdrive, which I wouldn't want to be right now. If I was in underdrive trying to back up this, I would definitely flip it over. So that's why we're making sure that we're in standard. But now we're kind of getting ourselves in trouble here because the rear axles wanted to push it out. So we're going to switch to our underdrive now, because that'll maybe give us a little bit of dig to pull it over. Okay, carefully. And oh no, there it goes. All right, can I recover it? Yep, there we go. Nope. Oh. Okay. I'm just glad we landed on our feet at this point, because I would not want to have to go down there and get it. All right, you know what? Now that we're down here, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to make it climb. So we do have our underdrive on right now, which is going to be great for making an ascent. Now, the other problem with a truck this big, as you can see it doing right now, is it has no issues digging rocks up and moving them because it just has the power and the size to do it. So here we go. Look at that. A little bit of drag on the front pumpkin there, but nothing the wheels weren't able to overcome. Now, okay, right here, we're going to run into some trouble, perhaps, unless we can kind of keep our rear wheels. Yep, there we go. That's what we wanted. Wanted the rear wheels to kind of pull up on that one rock to keep us from getting caught underneath and rolling us backwards. Now, so far, we're doing okay. I was worried because I couldn't see underneath this rock right here if that was gonna, there was an overhang and it was gonna kind of pull under. But now we really have to watch our axles and watch these jagged edges of these rocks sticking out. When I say jagged edge, I definitely want to make a 90s R&B hip-hop reference, but I feel like a lot of people today wouldn't get it. But if you get it, leave it in the comments. Tell me if you know who Jagged Edge is and what one of their most famous songs was, okay? It's another thing about YouTube. I feel like if I put even a clip of it, it gets copyright striked, you know? So can't even do that. All right. We're gonna go through here. Oh. All right, can we recover this without tipping over? Oh my gosh, what are we doing? Can I get it to settle? Oh, it wants to. I can tell it wants to. Just, it's got to do it though. Nope. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hold the wheel over. I'm gonna give it a tip over. Okay, yep, second hand of me today. All right, and this is where a stronger servo would really, I think, have helped us, because there's a couple things that happened there that if I had a stronger servo in this thing, it would have been able to right it without tipping over. But stronger servo is on the way, still waiting for it. I'm going to have to contact my Vidavon guy to see what the status of it is, if it's coming. Now, this is a terrain that we've conquered with a lot of crawlers. There's all kinds of lines through this. So today, let's try something that, once again, I haven't seen a whole lot of people do. We're going to try to go down this side right here. We've gone down this way a bunch of times, and I'm going to actually use this to walk down. But we just get our Vertex 6 situated here and make the descent. Ow. Let's make our descent, and you can really appreciate how steep this is.
Okay.
So taking a line like this from this far away and this steep really is a challenge, just from what you're doing, even with your own eyes, because you're really not seeing up close what the rocks look like, what your wheels are going to be going up and over. So it's really a challenge in the sense that you just don't know. But like this right here, I have a feeling might get us into trouble, because I'm going to just try to wiggle it over. There we go. So there's where you can see, and I realize I'm not getting it in my phone camera. So good thing I've got the POV camera on my head. Like right there. All right, can we get this? Can we get the rear axle down before we start going down that next ledge, so that we don't put the truck in too steep of a decline? Yep, there we go. Good. Now, there we're still good. We were close. But yeah, look at, this is doing great. And we are in our underdrive now, because when you're descending down an obstacle, having dig or underdrive on your rear axle helps give stability, because that rear axle kind of bites in almost like a brake or a partial brake, to sort of just give your descent a little more control. Oh wow. I definitely could have taken that line right at the end a lot better, so I didn't have to blip the throttle to save it. But the good news is we made it down that successfully. This is just such an impressive truck. And you know what? Redcat, the rumors on their warranty got to be true. The rumors on Redcat warranties is that they're fantastic, that they're really good about covering their stuff and standing behind their product. And I can now vouch to that. So for some reason, the paint has started coming off along the top corners of the body, here, here, and here, where you really wouldn't expect it to be coming off. Like, I'd expect it to be coming off maybe down here by the bottom of the truck, you know, where it's actually rubbing on rocks and stuff, but not way up in the corners where nothing's touching it. So it doesn't make any sense that that was happening, right? Well, I literally just sent Redcat a couple photos, wrote them a message on the warranty claim just stating, hey, this is the paint's coming off the body in a weird way that I don't think is normal. I think is indicative of a defect, even though it's just the paint. And not even a question on anything back, just, hey, I'm going to get you a new body sent in the mail here ASAP. And literally after the guy sent that message, I got the email in my inbox saying that Redcat had sent me, or has sent me a new body for this truck. So I am definitely a Redcat fan as a result of the experience so far between this truck and, again, my Ascent 18, which is just such a fantastic little crawler. They've really just made a great product, and then of course having a great warranty where they stand behind their product, that's really fantastic too. You know, any company, I'd say a company is only as good as the willingness they have to stand behind the product that they make. And I feel like nowadays that is such a foreign value for a lot of places, you know. Either stuff is made so incredibly cheap that they don't care, which I don't think that this is made cheaply. Like, is it got the most high quality components in it ever? Well, no, but it's got a better motor than what you're going to get most of the time. I mean, it's got the Hobbywing Fusion 8 SE, so while it's not the Pro, it's still a Hobbywing Fusion, which is one of the best all-around crawling motors you can get when you compare on performance, price, durability. Like, it's just a general favorite among the crawling community, because it's just such a good all-arounder for what you pay for it. You know, now of course, are there higher end setups like, you know, like Three Brothers or Holmes or things like that? Sure. You know, but you pay $80 for a 10th scale Holmes in-runner motor, you know, where a Hobbywing Fusion SE, which is the ESC and motor all in one, is, you know, like in the low $100 range, I want to say, like 140, 150 or something like that. Not even, maybe, for the SE model. Oops. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to go up and get that one now. Thought I could make it up that rock, and it looked pretty promising, but you know what? I can do that. I'm gonna do it. Let's get it. I know I can. I just have to find the right grip and maybe the right bump here. There we go. Yep, just needed that bump. Just get over the skid. But anyway, what I was saying was that the fact that they put such a good motor in this truck, and even in the Fusion Ascent, or sorry, not the Fusion Ascent, the Ascent 18 Apex, where they put the Hobbywing Outrunner motor in that thing, which is one of the best little Outrunner motors for a 24 scale crawler, an 18 scale crawler that you can get. It's just a fantastic setup, and it also comes with the Hobbywing ESC that goes with that motor too. So you have a 3S setup. You have a 3S setup in a 24 scale crawler that's pretty much ready to go out of the box, competition ready, for $250. You know, you compare that to like a FuriTech Cayman, okay, which is not, performance-wise out of the box, is not as good. You're looking at almost $400 for something like that. And the Ascent 18 Apex will crawl circles around it, you know, like you put it head to head with that box, out of the box for both, it'll crush it every time. Now, is a FuriTech going to have more high-end components in it, like as far as metal in the chassis and the drivetrain, all that other stuff? Yeah, there's definitely some spots in the Ascent 18 Apex where they used plastic, for example, in the drive shafts and the links instead of metal. And some people would argue that plastic is better in the links anyway, because it slides over rocks and obstacles more easily. And they're probably right. Plastic probably does slide more easily, has less friction coefficient than aluminum metal does. Obviously, durability-wise, there's pros and cons to the argument of plastic versus metal. If you watch Kevin Talbot, he'll literally say plastic is stronger and better because it flexes and returns to shape when you're bashing. And he's right in that scenario, that plastic is absolutely better when you're landing a big jump that's going to possibly bend a metal chassis versus a plastic chassis. However, for driving performance, handling, predictability. Metal is going to be better because when you're more rigid, it's going to predict more, it's going to handle more predictably. You're going to know and feel what the vehicle is more likely to do when you're driving it, or when it hit a bump and you recover from it. It's just going to give you a little bit more positive feedback in that respect from the handling aspect. But as far as durability goes, if you're crashing and bashing, yeah, plastic's gonna last longer, for sure. What I will do is that, and again, with 10 scale crawlers going up and down those rocks, it's like you really got to choose a line because you'll get hung up. But the Vertex 6 says just pull the throttle and get me up it. I'll do the rest. I really should take some more of my other crawlers out to shoot some other crawler content than just this thing, even though this thing is so amazing. Let's see if we can't get up a crazy side here. Now, what's going to be risky about this is if we push ourselves. All right, I just got a call from a gentleman named Mike who works with a certain RC car brand. I'm not going to say the name out loud because I just made a post on my YouTube channel, a post, not a video, because you can do that. Ooh, look at this. All right. It managed to get the front end up. Now, this is what's going to be risky, is that if I do the wrong thing here, it's going to roll right over into the drink, and we don't want that. Even though this thing is, for the most part, water resistant, splash proof, if we can avoid getting it in the water, that's ideal. And this is such a steep, please don't slip down the hill. This is such a steep incline here that it's really critical that we take the right line to get up this, because the skid, there we go, we got to get it up and over the skid. Maybe, there we go. Okay, we're working it over a little bit. Now we're kind of, okay, that's a little worrisome because that feels like it's going to roll over. I'm going to get close to this just in case. All right. You know what? If it doesn't roll over, this is a pretty epic side hill, I gotta say. Boy, oh boy, I feel like that's on the edge, and it's running right up against the axle. I feel like one little slip and it's gonna just push it right over. So, do we try to come? No, we don't try to come up that way. Do we maybe come back this way? But now I feel like that rear axle is going to all of a sudden take a dive. So can I get the front tire? Yep, settled. And go very slowly. And I apologize once again if I don't get everything in camera, because I'm trying to watch the truck while shooting. That is a skill in of itself, especially when you really get into something sweaty like this. Oh my goodness. Every turn of the servo is just testing the balance of this thing. Okay, if that front driver wheel or passenger wheel can pull up and hook, which it is, and it's bringing it around. Ooh, guys, what a feat for this thing. This is, oh wait, come on. Settle it down. No, come on. I'm getting too excited. Now I want to just like run right up the hill. Kate Bush. Come on, there we go. Yes, yes, yes. All right, front axle, front pumpkin's getting hung up on that one rock. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Wow. Holy crap, guys. What a climb that thing just made. What an obstacle that negotiated. Literally, this flat rock face around that jagged point there with just that much room to side hill and turn itself around to get itself up there. This thing does not cease to amaze. And that's why I keep wanting to come out and drive that. That's why I reach for this truck. I want to drive this truck when I'm crawling. It just puts so much joy and such a big smile on my face with the stuff that you are able to pull off, the lines you're able to take with it, just the near impossible, or what look to be like near impossible lines that this truck can do. It just wows me. It's just fantastic. All right. We've got 20 minutes till the sun sets, so we're going to start walking out. But look at how gorgeous this scene is we're in right now. You know what? I'm just going to take a minute because sometimes in this busy, hectic world where there's so much going on and things that happen in life. Oh, you know what? And good thing I took a minute too, because I almost lost my headband for my Insta360. But as I was saying, there's just so much that goes on. And we keep ourselves so busy sometimes that we forget to just sometimes take a minute, just take things in. I don't say that to make anybody watching this sad. I say that to just say, try to take these moments and appreciate them. Because for every one of us, one day they'll be gone. All right, let's find our river crossing spot. Right up and over these rocks and dirt. Again, it doesn't look like much because this thing makes it look easy, but you put a TRX4 or something along those lines over those rocks, I mean, it would get over them. Those are good crawlers, but it wouldn't make it look as easy as this Redcat does. I know it sounds like I'm just absolutely saying nothing but great things about this thing, but that really is because it is that good. If you could only buy one crawler right now, just one, and you valued the performance it has over anything else, we're gonna have to go up a little further. And you valued crawling performance over scale, looks, anything like that. Just, you wanted pure crawling performance, taken on lines. Your budget was under 1,000, but maybe 900. I know they've had this thing go on sale, like I've said a bunch of times. I got it on sale. I think the regular price is 800 on this thing. But then by the time you get the wheel weights, you know, you're looking at another 50 bucks. So I'm just saying 900 is a round number. So you have all the money to get what you need. All right, let's walk across these slippery rocks carefully, gingerly, so we don't slip and fall in the drink. Ugh. Even now with the motion of the water, it's still carrying me away a little bit when I put my foot in. You feel it just pushing, and I'm getting a little water in my feet. Whew. But again, not too bad, man. Shout out to Echoes. That's pretty much what I wear, or Echo shoes. Man, they are just soaked. All right. We got the Vertex 6 ready to, do they call this fjording the river? What do they call that when you just drive the truck? All right, here we go. And soon we're gonna have to just take these foams out, measure them, and make a 3D printed insert for them. There is, I know Exo Caged makes something called the Pro Codes, which is a 3D printed insert that goes with these foams, but I don't know. I've gotten these foams wet a couple times now, so I don't know how much they're still gonna be good. I suppose if you dry them out right away and don't let them just sit in the moisture inside the wheels, they're probably fine. But they degrade when you let the water sit in the wheels and the foam just sits there in the moisture, is what I'm imagining happens. So, but as you saw, even with the fact that this is a pretty lightweight 6 scale, it stayed planted and went through that river, no issues. Didn't even slide. Look at that sunset. Beautiful.